Back in the year 2100, humans made a great achievement in the science of life extension. To stay young, the populace started a huge wave of fitness and training. Following the trend, the game, God's Domain, began. The capability of God's Domain to simulate a player's action allowed it to rapidly grow into the hottest game in the world. Various God's Domain workshops emerged, and the share prices of the conglomerate behind these workshops rose. Fast forward to the year 2139, inside the workshop of Shadow, one of the many guilds inside God's Domain. A player was ejected inside the gaming capsule after seeing the prompt that his account has been deleted. 3 men then approached him, demanding him to sign the termination of the contract as his account was now deleted. One of the 3 men called him Shi Feng. Yes, Shi Feng was the guild master of Shadow and they wanted to terminate his contract as he did not absorb other guilds in God's Domain. Shi Feng was very upset with this outcome. He dedicated his youth to carrying Shadow where it was right now, and the conglomerate behind the workshop rode the coattail of his success, yet because of one decision he made, he was being fired. The 3 men did even show remorse and laughed at Shi Feng's unfortunate life. The long-haired one told Shi Feng that he should be grateful that even after termination, they will provide him with a mansion and 5 million credits to live his remaining life in luxury. Shi Feng did not bother talking to them as he was already back in the corner. He just signed the document and left the workshop. He then went straight to his villa and started drinking his sorrows away, as others usually do. He was cursing those who dumped him after he gave his everything to the guild, ripping the document he has on hand. He continued to drink while saying to himself that he can always start again even though his account was already deleted. He drank his night away and eventually passed out. He then heard music which woke him up. As he was opening his eyes, he felt his head hurting, thinking that it was because of his drinking last night. He then picked up his ringing phone and saw the name Blackie. Shi Feng was wondering why would Blackie look for him. Still groggy from his headache, Shi Feng answered the phone, and a voice from the other end said that the Shadow Workshop was recruiting today. Hearing his friend informing him about the Shadow Workshop that dumped him just yesterday, Shi Feng thought Blackie was making fun of his misfortune, but when he looked at a nearby mirror he was shocked at what he saw. Shi Feng unconsciously dropped his phone and quickly approached the mirror, shocked by his young appearance. He then picked up his dropped phone, which Blackie was still on, and inspected the current date. The display shows that the date was April 19, 2129. Shi Feng did not know how, but if the display was true, then he went back 10 years to the past. He was making his way toward their university. Shi Feng thought that he was given a second chance. This time around, he will make Shadow and those bastards pay for what they did to him. While Shi Feng was busy with his thoughts, a tall man called out to him. It was Blackie, and he was hurrying Shi Feng to come with him to where the Shadow Workshop was recruiting. Shi Feng did not follow but asked Blackie if he would come with him if he will build his own workshop rather than join Shadow. Hearing his words, Blackie was shocked and was taken aback. Shi Feng wanted Blackie for his future workshop as his management skills will shine in the next 10 years. But the only problem was that Blackie wanted to join Shadow to lessen the burden on his family. To recruit Blackie, Shi Feng must change his mind first. Hearing Shi Feng's proposal, Blackie did not reject it right away and told Shi Feng that they need at least 70 to 80k credits for the equipment, venue, and salaries. Blackie was asking Shi Feng where would he get that huge amount. Responding to Blackie's worries, Shi Feng told him that if they sign a contract with Shadow, they will be bound by the workshop and have their movements outside and inside the game strictly monitored. Blackie understood what Shi Feng meant, but to even get started to play God's Domain, they have to secure equipment for it. Blackie sighed in helplessness as he wants to help his good friend Shi Feng, but he can't just imagine how Shi Feng would start a workshop from scratch while having no funds to kickstart everything. Shi Feng patted Blackie's shoulder, reassuring him that he can find a way. As for the equipment, God's Domain has a special offer for students. They only need to show their student IDs to loan the equipment for 10 days. Hearing Shi Feng's plan, Blackie became even more stressed and asked Shi Feng what they can even do in 10 days, but Shi Feng was serious about his plan. For him, 10 days was enough. With his 10 years of experience in God's Domain, he has the advantage and a head start compared to everyone right now. He just asked Blackie to leave everything to him, which Blackie accepted in the end. After that talk, Shi Feng went and procured some food and drinks as well as the equipment for the game. He went back home and used the equipment right away as he sat on his bed, getting ready for his new start. Inside the game, Shi Feng was transported to a floating island with a Parthenon built on top of it. Shi Feng scanned his area and was feeling nostalgic about the early version of the login interface. When he reached the temple, a lady with 2 sets of black wings and wearing a black battle suit greeted Shi Feng, saying that she was Gabriel, his navigator angel. Gabriel then asked Shi Feng to quickly choose his own job out of the 12 main jobs. Out of all the jobs, Shi Feng chose swordsman without much thought. Gabriel then asked Shi Feng for his in-game name, or IGN for short. Shi Feng thought that he should use the same name as he did before going back to the past and answered Yi Feng. Gabriel then asked Shi Feng if he would adjust his appearance, which Shi Feng did as he doesn't want others to recognize him and find out his identity. After adjusting his in-game appearance, Gabriel asked Shi Feng to choose his birthplace in the Star Moon Kingdom. Shi Feng was swiping through the panel and thought that White River City might be a good choice since it was one of the biggest cities of the Star Moon Kingdom. More importantly, he can avoid getting into conflicts between the guilds and grow silently. With that thought, Shi Feng decided to go for White River City, and Gabriel bid him farewell. Shi Feng closed his eyes and he disappeared into the Parthenon. Immediately, Yi Feng, Shi Feng's character, spawned in the middle of the busy street. He was transported to a beginner town called Red Leaf Town. He saw a bunch of players going about their businesses and exploring this new environment. The distinguishing factor between NPCs and players was that green diamond above the player's head. Yi Feng also did not go by idly and inspected his initial stats. He opened his status window and saw that he has 4 free stat points to be distributed. These 4 free stat points were given to players every time they level up and let the player distribute it on their own to build their own character that fits their playstyle. For Yi Feng, as a swordsman, he was a physical damage dealer. Players with a physical type of damage usually add points to their strength stat to get more damage. That's what Yi Feng also did before regressing, but this time, he was determined to prioritize his agility stat first. Agility can increase movement speed and attack speed. For Yi Feng, this is a very helpful upgrade as you can't kill what you can hit. Even though he lacks damage right now by investing all 4 free stat points into agility, but he can chip away someone's HP while being able to dodge every attack from the enemy. After Yi Feng settled his stats, a notification appeared, telling him that the user Black Cloud was inviting him for a call. Recognizing the user, Yi Feng accepted the call and a Blackie appeared on the screen. Blackie told Yi Feng that he chose the Cursemancer class and was transported to Moonfall City. Yi Feng then instructed Blackie to come to Red Leaf Town as it was not too far from Moonfall Town. But Blackie voiced his worries as the distance was 7 hours, and by the time he got there, other players already left him in the dust in terms of level while he was still level 0. In any RPG game, getting lagged in terms of level means missing out on good dungeons and hunting grounds that high-level players can only traverse, which will pull you down, and will have a hard time catching up unless you have someone carry you to a higher level area to level up, which also known as riding a bus. Yi Feng then said that if they train like other players here, opening a workshop would be impossible. He then told Blackie about the unique quest that excites Blackie. Blackie knew of these super rare quests that were incredibly hidden and can only be done once per server. These types of quest rewards players who completed it great rewards and a ton of express. Yi Feng explained to Blackie that Red Leaf Town has one of these missions as he walked into the slums. Blackie believed Yi Feng's statement and asked him if he get to hook up with someone great to get that precious information about unique quests. Yi Feng did not admit nor deny the statement, he just shrugged it off and told Blackie to hurry up. As the both of them finished talking, Yi Feng approached a beggar from the street asking if he could be of help. The beggar asked Yi Feng for some food as he haven't eaten for 5 days already. Rejecting the request, Yi Feng probed for another request that the beggar would ask besides food. After his first request getting rejected, the beggar, however, did not get agitated and asked for something else entirely. The beggar was asking Yi Feng to kill the town mayor of Red Leaf Town, Cross. After the beggar said his request, a system notification popped up informing Yi Feng of the activation of the unique quest Sherlock's request. The system was giving Yi Feng a minute to think if he would accept such a ridiculous quest, as normal players will find it impossible to do. But not for a veteran player like Yi Feng, as he accepted the quest and quickly made his way towards the town hall where the town's mayor, Cross, would be. While making his way inside, Yi Feng was shocked by the long queue of players trying to get the starter quests from Cross. Too bad for them, Yi Feng was there to ruin it all. As Yi Feng was passing through the queue, a player noticed him and told Yi Feng to follow the queue and not cut in the line. Yi Feng smiled at the man and informed him that he was not there for the quest. As the man stopped him before, Yi Feng gave a piece of advice in return and told the man to not waste his time there and gave him a tip for a proper leveling area in the wild. The man did not buy his advice as there were a bunch of players there chasing a very scarce supply of mobs, which was not an ideal way of leveling up. Yi Feng acknowledged that fact and told him that places that have mobs with low spawn rates will not attract players farming for experience, hence it would be an ideal place for a solo player to level up. That's good and all, but was there such a place? The man asked Yi Feng. With this question, the most shameless man, second only to Ni Li, was born as Yi Feng asked the man for 20 coppers for that information. The price disheartened the man, as everyone who just started will have 10 coppers in their inventory as starting money. Asking for 20 coppers was just too much for newbies. Yi Feng did not push his pay-as-you-go scheme but resorted to a down payment strat as he asked for 10 coppers first and he will give the location, but he was telling the truth, he has to give him 10 coppers more. Hearing these conditions, the man decided to bite the scheme and gave Yi Feng 10 coppers. Yi Feng gave the location and the man left the queue. As for Yi Feng, he went outside the mall again to buy his weapon for him to kill Cross. He approached a vendor nearby and asked for a tomato. Tomatoes cost 1 copper each and Yi Feng bought 10 pieces. The nearby players heard him waste 10 coppers for a fruit and called him an idiot and noob. Who would waste their precious currency for something that would not help them level up? But what they did not know was that Yi Feng has a master plan and tomato was the core item. Yi Feng arrived inside the town hall while eating his tomato. He was observing Cross, who was sitting in front of the queue. Cross was a man with a balding head starting from his forehead and was wearing a golden gauntlet on both arms. Yi Feng saw that Cross was a level 15 NPC with 2400 HP and 1500 MP, and concluded that he could not beat Cross even if there were 100 copies of himself. Nevertheless, Yi Feng did not consider backing out from the quest, approached Cross slowly, and threw an eaten tomato toward Cross' face. Hitting him with a tomato in the face was not enough as Yi Feng shouted slurs targeting Cross. This action made everyone present shock as they did not expect that someone would dare to anger a beginner town's mayor. Cross, who was hit by the tomato, was visibly angry, coupled with the system alert notifying Yi Feng that his favorability towards Cross has gone down by 100. This alert reminded Yi Feng that Cross was no longer friendly towards him. But this is not enough for his quest completion, so Yi Feng throws another tomato which hit Cross again in the face. Seeing that Yi Feng was taunting the mayor, everyone present thought that he will be imprisoned for life for attacking the mayor. The mayor on the other hand has enough of Yi Feng's tomatoes as the system alert notified Yi Feng that Cross was now hostile towards him. This means that Cross would actively attack Yi Feng if he was in sight. Yi Feng, however, wasn't bothered by the notification. This was his goal from the start, as Cross state before was friendly. While on the surface it looks like Yi Feng was attacking Cross, but the system did not register his actions as threatening, thus the guards around Cross did not react. Although the guards did not react, Cross himself took action and pounced toward Yi Feng in a very swift action. Yi Feng barely reacted and raised his sword for a parry. Yet even with a successful block, the damage Yi Feng took was nothing to scoff about. It ate about 90% of his HP. But if you would compare a level 15 attacking a newbie level 0, you would instantly think that the newbie was going to die in a heartbeat, but to everyone's disbelief, Yi Feng was able to live after one attack. Seeing that his attack failed to take Yi Feng's life, Cross shockingly transformed into a werewolf. This shocking revelation was happening right in front of everybody, just moments after entering the game. Discarding everyone's judgment, Cross was about to attack Yi Feng again, but the guards that stood guarding Cross, who did not make a move when Yi Feng threw tomatoes at Cross, moved and intercepted Cross right before he reached Yi Feng. Looking at the guards attacking Cross with their skills, Yi Feng smirked as these were within his plans. If he outright attacked Cross from the beginning, those guards will direct their skills towards him instead. He has to make Cross attack him without triggering the guards, that is why he used the tomato as a throwing weapon. But looking at the sight of Cross slowly dying, the temptation of the last hit bonus was very strong for those who were watching. Giving into temptation, the players around started going after Cross. Swordsmen run with their swords while mages cast their spells from behind. But all of their efforts were in vain in the end, as Cross fell without dropping items and giving out experience for those who participated in the subjugation. How could have this happened, you asked? It was because, for them, Cross was in a friendly or neutral state. Killing him at that state was futile, as they will not drop anything, be it items or experience points. In addition, trying to steal a last hit from a high-level guard was particularly impossible, as they were still using trash equipment at the moment. As they were grumbling about the drops, Yi Feng already slipped away from the crime scene. He was done now with his appointment there and got what he wanted. The quest item, the mayor's insignia. Yi Feng went back to the slums and gave the insignia to the beggar that gave him the quest. The beggar received the quest item and gave Yi Feng a silver box as a reward. When Yi Feng received the box, the system suddenly notified Yi Feng that the only one mission, Sherlock's request, has been completed, rewarding him with 2,000 experience points, 20 proficient points, and a luxury jewelry box, which is the one he was currently holding. Yi Feng was astonished by the system rewards. It might be because he completed it while he was at level 0. The unwritten rule in all RPG games was that the more challenging and hard the quest was, the more generous the rewards were. Though the quest was close to impossible, the reward was worth the risk. Yi Feng did not waste a moment and opened his luxury box. When he opened it though, a blinding light came out from inside the box, illuminating the darkened slums. I don't know how no one noticed it, but it just happened like that. When the light subsided, a ring appeared in front of Yi Feng. The ring was called Gravitational Ring, Black Iron rank quality, level 0 level requirement, and can be worn by all classes. As for the stats, it has +2 on strength, +1 on agility, and a +1 on stamina. It has also a skill called Unleash Gravitation, a skill that would make the user feel weightless as a feather for 30 seconds with a cooldown of 5 minutes. Yi Feng was very much pleased with the only ring that the luxury box contained. This was what he expected when he accepted the unique quest before. The ring also gave him +2 on strength, so he would not be bothered by having low damage for now. Yi Feng then used his other reward, the 4 free stat points, and put it all under agility. With this, his agility was now 12, and that would make his attack speed and movement speed comparable to an assassin. Yi Feng also used his proficiency points to level up his single-hand sword proficiency to 20, which evolved to beginner rank, giving an increase of 10% in single-hand sword damage. As swordsmen cannot use basic or normal attacks, skills were a must for the class. Fortunately, Yi Feng knew of a place to get a skill, but that was a challenge race. Yi Feng opened a door to a place that looked like a battle arena for gladiators. Inside were players trying to beat the challenge race, but were unsuccessful after so many tries already. Finally, the challenger failed and was riddled with bullets from gnomes. He respawned outside the challenge area and was unwilling to back down as he asked for more money from his comrades. This challenge cost money per try. To be precise, it was 5 copper per try. That was like everything a newbie has in their inventory. Unfortunately, his 2 comrades already run out of money. These 2 men called the man Shi Feng. Yi Feng heard the name. Yi Feng remembered the Star Moon Kingdom's top 10 assassins from before he regressed. Yi Feng did not recognize Shi Feng as he looked different 10 years in the future. Shi Feng, however, saw Yi Feng and approached him while introducing himself. Apparently, Shi Feng was the assassin leader of the Assassin Union. Shi Feng emphasized his connection to the renowned Assassins Union, as anyone who would hear it will be pressured, especially since he was asking to borrow money from Yi Feng, who looked like a newbie. Shi Feng was sure that if Yi Feng heard his guild's name, he would not make Shi Feng pay for it. Yi Feng agreed to Shi Feng's borrowing 5 coppers from him. But to Shi Feng's surprise, Yi Feng said that he'll have to pay 50 coppers in return. His words not only shocked Shi Feng but also angered his comrades. They were so ready to attack Yi Feng as he did not even put Shi Feng in his eyes and was only focused on the borrowed money and owed money after that. But even with the ridiculous interest, Shi Feng still accepted the terms. Yi Feng was also cunning as he wanted to add each other to avoid Shi Feng running with his money. As the transaction was over, Yi Feng walked away from the group. Shi Feng's comrades asked him if they should return the money, go out to earn money, and then get back here to challenge again. Shi Feng can always do that, but his name and reputation would not allow him to back down from the deal, plus his willingness to end the challenge today was so intense that he accepted Yi Feng's terms. I myself can tell that this is the early sign of gambling addiction disease. Anyway, as Shi Feng already got his entrance fee, he quickly registered to go at it again. While registering, they saw Yi Feng on the other line trying to register himself. Seeing that Yi Feng was challenging the same thing that Shi Feng has been trying for a while now but failed to succeed, he looked down at Yi Feng, saying that how can a newbie think that it was that easy to challenge this race? According to him, even though it was only 30 yards but starting from 15 yards, the attack mode will change as well as the attack speed will also increase. These things will make it even harder for the challenger like Shi Feng, who failed to overcome it again and again, so what made Yi Feng think that he can challenge this? Shi Feng did not even think about the possibility that Yi Feng can win the challenge. He just thought that if he could not even finish it, how can a newbie finish it? While still talking down at Yi Feng, the actor himself enters the challenge area. The prompt notified Yi Feng that the game has started and he dashed towards the globins that were shooting at him from 30 yards away. The bullets whistled around Yi Feng, warning him that with one wrong move, everything will be finished. But Yi Feng dodged them all without even breaking a sweat. This feat greatly shocked Shi Feng's comrade, saying that Yi Feng's speed was much faster than Shi Feng's. Hearing his comrade complimenting another player, Shi Feng coughed embarrassingly, saying that Yi Feng could be an athlete that practiced martial arts, which is why he was much faster than normal players. Shi Feng said those just to save his image, but deep down he acknowledged that Yi Feng's skills were much better than his. Yi Feng's movements weren't something a newbie could pull. Even the way he dodges, Shi Feng himself admits that he can't outperform Yi Feng. But this was just before the 15-yard mark. Even with Yi Feng's skills, he does not believe that he can overcome the increase in difficulty past the 15-yard mark. As Shi Feng was thinking about the 15-yard mark, Yi Feng already crossed the mark. The globins changed their weapons and went ham on Yi Feng, shooting volleys of bullets. Seeing those bullets darting towards him like rain, Yi Feng then pulled out his starter sword. Shi Feng's comrades saw Yi Feng's action and instantly saw through his intention. Yi Feng will use his sword to deflect some bullets that would hit him or those that cannot be dodged while dodging and weaving through the rain of bullets. Shi Feng's comrades mocked Yi Feng for trying such a reckless tactic. They thought that Yi Feng doesn't know the rule that even if just one bullet made contact with him, the challenge will be over with his loss. But as Yi Feng slashed and dashed, they were all shocked that not even one bullet hit him while under such a barrage. Red-haired one was panicking seeing Yi Feng cross the 25-yard mark and was close to the finish line. Shi Feng was also shocked at Yi Feng's prowess. The server just started and yet there's already someone who can predict bullet trajectory and use a weapon to block it. Shi Feng commended Yi Feng's control as something comparable to a monster rank. But the challenge was far from over as the Globans changed their weapon again, and this time, they pulled out their little friend, the big old Gatling gun. Shi Feng saw this shamelessness and was shocked and quickly warned Yi Feng from the sidelines of what was about to come. Shi Feng was overwhelmed by the fire rate a machine gun dished out towards Yi Feng. He already thought that passing the 15-yard mark was already very hard, this time though it was almost impossible. But Yi Feng did not cower and faced the swarm of bullets coming at him at a high speed. For reference, a standard machine gun can fire 7 bullets per second. That was 420 bullets per minute and it was traveling at a very high speed of 300 meters per second. As Yi Feng already passed the 25-yard mark, and the goal was 30 yards from the starting point, he was currently around 5 yards away from the gunners. 5 yards was around 4.572 meters, and if my calculations was right, the bullets can reach his position at 15.24 milliseconds. That would only mean that Yi Feng has to react in less than 15.24 milliseconds so that he can counter those bullets flying at him. For the record, F1 racers have a reaction time of 0.2 seconds or 200 milliseconds. Okay, enough with the useless calculations. Yi Feng then brandished his sword, cutting bullet after bullet. This action happened in a split second and the effect was a massive explosion. Yi Feng did stop though and used the push from the explosion to boost himself towards the finish line. Yi Feng successfully reached the finish line and a Globan congratulated him on finishing the challenge in 14 seconds, breaking the record, hence he was rewarded with a bronze reward. These words were backed up by the system notification, informing Yi Feng that he completed the challenge and giving him his rewards, which were 1 silver coin and a swordsman's skill called Tempest Lightning Flash. Yi Feng sighed in relief while sheathing his sword. That last bit there caused so much effort for him to break through. Even if this is just virtual reality, if the equipment detected that Shi Feng's brain waves peaked to a critical level, he will be forced to log out of the game to rest for a while. On the sidelines, Shi Feng and his comrade cheered for Yi Feng. Their indifferent attitude towards Yi Feng has vanished. Yi Feng on the other hand was inspecting his new skill. In a panel, it shows the skill Tempest Lightning Flash and its description. The skill was an action-type skill that requires a sword to be used. While Yi Feng was inspecting his newly obtained skill, Shi Feng and his 2 comrades came up to him with admiration in their eyes. Creeped out by their behavior, Yi Feng turned to walk away, but he did not forget to remind them about the 50 coppers that they have agreed upon. After exiting the challenge venue, Yi Feng went straight to a shopping spree and used up all of his coins to buy an exploding berry. Yi Feng was now inside the red leaf forest. It was a place of red leaf trees indeed. It was a monster area that was good for farming experience points with a solid team lineup. Yi Feng saw a group of players doing the exact same thing. Even if the experience points were to be distributed amongst the 4 of them, but the effectiveness of the grinding compensated for the loss of experience points since it was safe. Because dying in God's domain carries a heavy punishment such as loss of experience points that will lead to dropping in level, and also items, be it inside your inventory or something you equip, there's a high chance of it dropping after death. The group of players saw Yi Feng observing them hunt and they did not appreciate his presence. In every RPG game, there was that term they called kill stealing or simply KS. These players will try to last hit the monster that was hunted by another player to steal the rewards and experience points. This is the reason why players are weary of lone players wandering the hunting area. But Yi Feng doesn't have the time to be playing with low-level monsters. As I've said earlier, reward comes with risks. Yi Feng went straight to an area with high-level mobs to hunt. This could be very dangerous for under-leveled players with no good pieces of equipment, but not for Yi Feng. As Yi Feng scanned his area, he noticed a lone forest wolf. These wolves have high speed and high attack damage, but it doesn't matter as the wolf was currently isolated from the pack. Wolves, individually, were not that much a threat to players with good control over their characters. What makes the forest wolves a threat was that they hunt in packs of about at least 5 wolves. Dealing with a lone wolf would be manageable for Yi Feng even if he was underleveled. Yi Feng slowly reached out for his sword, as carefully as possible so he would not alert the wolf. He thought that in any case if its pack was nearby, he would just jump into the river and flee to safety. But as Yi Feng put his other foot 1 step back, the bank collapsed and he fell below, where he made a horrifying discovery: there's a forest wolf nest just under where he stood. The wolves also saw Yi Feng drop from above and they alerted the whole nest for the intruder. They bared their teeth towards Yi Feng, showing their preparedness to fight. But their numbers were just too much for Yi Feng as he dashed away from the nest, cursing himself for the red flag he raised back there. Seeing the fleeing Yi Feng, The wolves gave haste as they thought of Yi Feng as prey now that he showed his back towards them. They easily caught up to Yi Feng as their speed was faster than his. But Yi Feng wasn't out of options yet. He quickly made use of his newly acquired gravitational ring and darted, like an arrowhead, away from the wolves. Yi Feng kept on running for the whole duration of the skill, and when the effect wore out, he already shook off the pack from his trail. Yi Feng did not just run in a random path. He saw the waterfall in front of him and thought that he arrived at the right place. But the road was stopped by a towering wall of rocks. Normally, a player can only pass through this area if they allocated 40 points to their agility stat, which would give them a skill called leap to get over the blockade. But it was a different story for Yi Feng. He has the gravitational ring that could help him climb the wall. Activating the skill, Yi Feng wall jumped his way up and he barely made it to the top. Upon reaching the top of the cliff, a giant arm made of rocks reached out from behind Yi Feng. Yi Feng expected its appearance though. He did not run but turned to face the owner of the arm. When he looked back, he saw a towering rock giant looking right down at him. Its sheer size made Yi Feng look like a huge bug. A health bar appeared above the giant's head and it stated that the giant was a level 5 golem that has 650 HP. Yi Feng did not waste much time and quickly pulled the exploding berry from his inventory. The golem did not wait for him also, as it punched down to where Yi Feng stood, shattering the boulder that he was standing on. This attack was easily dodged by Yi Feng as he flipped backward and threw a berry toward the golem, simultaneously. The berry exploded in front of the golem and the effect was that the golem will have reduced speed. This effect will make dodging easy, and Yi Feng could also increase his proficiency points as golems have such sturdy build and high defense that it would not go down easily, hence he can spam his skills and increase the proficiency point. Yi Feng easily dodged the golem's attacks now that its speed was reduced to a snail. Yi Feng then used his recently obtained skill, Tempest Thundering Flash. That was a mouthful actually. A quick reference to you all, the skill was only called Thundering Flash in its novel, hence I'll be calling it that way from now on as it was easier. With that out of the way, let's go back to the story. When Yi Feng used Thundering Flash, 3 sword lights slashed towards the golem. It was struck on its body and crumbled to the ground. He finally defeated a level 5 golem as a level 0 player. Thanks for tuning in to watch this video. I hope you found it enjoyable. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this in the future. So, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join the community. I appreciate each and every one of you and look forward to bringing you more great content in the future. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you in the next video.